Hey everybody, it's Bob with Trade Genius. Got my good friend Phil here. We're going to give you another reason to hop on the Bitcoin bus. Stay tuned.
Trade Genius.
Okay, Phil, we're expecting the liquidity train in the US to pump up again. We're expecting the supply shock to take hold again. Bitcoin is now eating away at this resistance area. But you found another chart that says, hey, this is an international passion. You want to show people what we got?
Yeah, so I'll just flip over to the chart here. PBOC, or the Central Bank of China, and they do these periodic liquidity injections. The white line is the PBOC balance sheet, or the Chinese central bank balance sheet. Like any central bank balance sheet, if it starts to expand, that makes its way into the various markets. Bitcoin especially likes it. So you've seen with the white line there and these shaded areas of where liquidity pulls back and then gets ready to move higher. And basically that's what we've got here. The Chinese central bank is actively putting more liquidity back into the system. As Bob mentioned, so will our government. We expect to see a big push up into November. And so we have this consolidation that's going on in Bitcoin right now. And we've come off the recent lows here pretty strongly. And now we've got the 68K level, the 70 level, and then the 72 level. And then after that, you attack the all-time highs. The interesting thing about that sequence is that once we get up to those levels, Bob, and we hit 74, given the length of the consolidation here, and we're post-halving, this is where this time of the year gets really, really bullish. So you could see just, back to kind of what we saw in the beginning of the year, right? When crypto was pumping really well. And you'll just have week after week of big candles. So, we're going to probably see a move once we break out of this into the 80s. And then I would think 90s, consolidate for a little bit more. And then what I would think would finish the move off somewhere over six figures. And, where that ends up happening, we've talked about maybe into the election. But it really depends too on the underlying macro stuff, right? With the economy and rate cuts and jobs and da-da-da-da. But that's kind of the rough idea here. But knowing that the Central Bank of China is ready to pump liquidity into the system, I wouldn't be bearish on crypto here, because it's not only going to pump Bitcoin, right? You got the Ethereum ETFs went live today. Remains to be seen if that's a sell the news event like Bitcoin was. I'm kind of leaning that you have to be open minded that maybe that's not, because Ethereum pulled back into the ETF announcement versus Bitcoin pumping into the ETF announcement. So it's a little bit of opposite move. But once Ethereum goes and that ETH BTC ratio chart starts to move up, then all the coins are going to go. And I think you're going to have a very similar environment to what we saw in the first half of the year.
Everybody, is Bob with Trade Genius. Usually I do fun ads. I talk about our service, but I want to be serious with you for a second. We've been helping a lot of people trading for a long time. As you can see here, I want to let them do the talking for me for a change. But most importantly, we want to help you too. If you have not joined our service yet, come check us out, tradelikeagenius.com. Full service. We have chat room. We have the algorithms for you. We give trades out every day. We educate you. So go to tradelikeagenius.com. Check us out. What you get out of our service is much, much more than what you put into it. And we'd like to see you in the room. Thanks for listening. I think that's going to help Coinbase too, Phil. With the additional products moving, they make their money on the transactions and assets under management. MicroStrategy is more of a Bitcoin play, so keep an eye on Coney to keep pumping. But MicroStrategy, I think, is already front running the supply shock. So there's ways in which you're going to play that. And of course, BITO or YBIT, and we're kind of right on top of it. We had a little bit of a pump earlier today too, but some of the miners got itchy there for a while. So I think there's a lot of tension under the surface, Phil. People waiting for that starting gun to go off, and then I think the trend followers are going to pump this whole class right up into the moon. Now I agree with you. I think Bitcoin can move on its own. It proved itself last week that whole market could collapse and Bitcoin can run. So it's less of a macro call than I think it could be more of a Bitcoin call or more of a lack of confidence in our political system call too, which is the scariest thing of all. What we saw this last 2 weeks with Biden and with the Secret Service is, we're becoming a laughing stock of the world, and we can't afford to be as a reserve currency. So you got to hedge yourself, be into things that aren't correlated with that. And we think these assets will do you well in the times that are going to be upon us. So Phil, thank you for sharing this with you. We got some really good stuff this week, and so stay tuned. Check us out every day, and check out tradelikeagenius.com. Come trade with us. We're enjoying this market. Thank you.
Trade Genius.